or how do you do marketing in healthcare? The short answer is it depends on the stakeholder you're selling to. I think one interesting thing in healthcare is that there's a difference between the user and the end user of the product and the actual payer and who has the financial responsibility for it. And in a lot of cases, patients are the end users, but they don't like to pay for things. So you had to go to the hospital. For patients, most direct-to-consumer strategies will work, because again, you're appealing to someone and you're trying to get them to buy a product based on the discretion. But for the providers and for the payers, your marketing really needs to communicate a couple of things. You always need to communicate the evidence that your product works. And the way you communicate that is you do different studies and you prove that your product works. So that's one thing. I think the other thing to think about is what the value proposition to them is and articulating that very clearly. So are you saving cost? Are you saving time? Are you helping them make more money? What's the exact thing? But so those are two things that help with the messaging. But when you think about the go-to-market strategy, or how do you get in front of these people, the most efficient way is through trade groups or through scientific societies. So for every disease, for example, there's organizations like, for example, in the cardiac case, there's the American Heart Association. And for diabetes, there's the American Diabetes Association. And so there's these different groups in healthcare that come together around the disease. And, going to those conferences, exhibiting at those conferences gives you a good opportunity for you to get exposure to a lot of people. And building a relationship with those organizations is also going to be important for your business, so you get as much visibility. So I think, just thinking of where those decision makers are going to be and what meetings they attend to learn about best practices in industries, those are good ways to get in front of that audience. So yeah, so that's my thoughts on marketing in healthcare is think about the stakeholder who's going to pay for this. And the next question is, what do you need to do to convince them about the credibility of your product? And the third thing is, where are those people? What do they go to? What do they go find out about best practices? And those are avenues to get to them.